Hey guys, welcome back to the Sphere. Today's review is going to be on Detroit Become Human for the PlayStation 4. When I played the demo, when it first came out, I was pretty impressed. It reminded me of a much more detail-oriented Telltale game. Little did I know that it was the tip of the iceberg of what would be a most unique experience. Let's get started. Graphics. Where to begin? This game is one of, if not the most beautiful games I have ever played. Everything looks extremely lifelike, and you can see the work and effort they put into every speck of dirt, snowflake, and drop of rain. I couldn't stop admiring how amazing everything looked. I felt like a moth to a flame, just staring in awe with my jaw dropped in almost every single inspiring scene. The behind-the-scenes extra footage in the game shows you how they brought these unique characters to life and how they created these realistic environments set in the near future. I must acknowledge the cinematography. They captured every moment like an epic movie that left you feeling so many different emotions with the angles alone. In the behind-the-scenes footage, they explain how they used different cinematography for every main character, and it shows. Kara's camera angles were warm, while Connor's were cold, and Marcus's were epic. Every scene had you looking around the environment just to see how well they captured it, whether it was a crime scene, dirty old houses, or abandoned construction sites. As far as graphics go, I have no negative comment to say about it. It is so incredibly stunning. Even during the gut-wrenching scenes, you can see the tears flowing down their cheeks. Every look of determination on their faces, anguish, happiness, fear, defiance, is shown without any words having to be spoken. So incredibly well done in my opinion. I remember saying, this is the most beautifully raw game I have ever played, while I was in the middle of playing the game, and I still stand by it after finishing it. Gameplay and controls. I found the controls to be very smooth in this game. It's mostly just walking or running around looking for items or people to interact with, along with many quick time events during the faster paced scenes. I loved being able to scan the environment for any clues that can help me advance the story. These hidden clues I would find would then open up more dialogue options for future conversations. Some would even keep characters alive, while others would lead me to traps. This is a game where your decisions do matter for the story. Everything you do or say has consequences or benefits, either right then and there or later on in the story. I literally found myself doing an action which I thought was no big deal and that I had almost missed in the beginning, and realized that last minute interaction saved me near the end of the game. I have never played such a decision detailed oriented game as much as Detroit. You can tell the writers worked incredibly hard to bring you so many different outcomes to this story, and you never had to guess what your other actions could have been, since at the end of every chapter there is a flowchart which shows you a map of all the different routes you could have taken. Of course, the other options remain locked until you do those actions in the story. So yes, this game has potentially a lot of replayability if you want to know what could happen in every scene. The senior game designer said, "There are games out there offering world exploration, we offer narrative exploration." I couldn't have put it any better myself. Sound. From the sound of rain droplets, to the shouts of protest, to the bangs of gunshots, to a kiss on the forehead, the sounds in this game are clear and pristine that make up the dark yet hopeful environment that makes up the game. Everything sounds so mechanical yet natural. Even the sounds the controller makes when making decisions or pressing menu options, to the silence used in some of the most stressful parts of the game. They utilize sound in a way that blended with the game perfectly. Then there's the music. There are 3 different main characters in the game, so they had 3 different composers for each character. How awesome is that? You'd think it would be a mess, but no, they all meshed so well together. You can feel the theme in every character's music when you play as them. Just like the cinematography, they adopted the music to correlate with the main character's personality, situation, and emotions. Along with the warm-up close shots of Kara, I felt the soft piano keys play with my emotions. Playing as Connor had me feeling more mechanical, based on the calculated tones they'd put into the music. When I was Marcus, I felt empowered with how the music was orchestrated to make me feel like there was hope. Each scene made me feel tense, relaxed, or focused based on the music alone. Last but not least is the voice acting. Everyone in the game sounded so crisp and passionate about their roles. For such strong, emotional, raw scenes, these actors would have to put in their absolute best when it came to their faces and voice. You can tell they were feeling their roles. They put themselves in the shoes of the characters, embraced them, and brought them to life on our screens. I felt every sigh of relief, gasp in horror, and shout of rebellion in their voices, which was extremely necessary, if not everything, to this game. Story. You're pretty much playing a movie you get to decide most, if not all, the decisions on. The story to this game revolves around 3 different androids of Detroit in the year 2038. When you start the game, you start with the android Connor. He is the sole new prototype of android whose purpose is to investigate deviant crimes. Deviants are androids that disobey normal protocol of assisting humans, whether with day-to-day activities or special activities it was originally designed for. Our second main character you get to play as is Marcus, an android who assists his owner, who is an older gentleman, and also starts to discover himself before tragedy strikes, which he must recover from while rediscovering his own purpose. Kara is our last main character you get to play as, that is also an android who helps clean around her owner's home and takes care of the owner's daughter, at the same time protecting her from her own father. Every story is different. All 3 encounter different situations and must hurdle different obstacles to get to their objectives. One character's decision can and will affect one or both of the other characters' stories. Whether you want to play as the good guy for one character, you can play as the bad guy for another. You're molding these 3 different characters to however you want them to be, and will in turn respond to each other's stories as such. There are no side quests or anything like that here. It's just the story and how you want to proceed through it. Characters can die in the game. You have to be mindful of the situations and empathize with the characters if you wish for them to survive. Be too reckless and you can lose many people. Sometimes you have a limited amount of time to decide what to do, and those few seconds could mean huge changes in your story. Or if you're in a stressful situation and you start to panic, which causes you to decide to take an action that could lead you to severe consequences when you could have just relaxed and let something go. It's very realistic in the consequences of your choices. I enjoyed all the characters, which in turn made me want to try my very best to have them all survive their ordeals. Overall, this game was an extremely unique experience that I will not forget. I honestly can't wait to play it again to see all the other decisions I could have chosen. How different would it have made the whole game? What would be the opposite ending of what I originally did? Would I like it better? Although it would be pretty tough to be how I played it. I enjoyed my playthrough so much that I teared up many times throughout the game and smiled in happiness when I succeeded in helping someone in need. It will make you wonder how the world can be a most ugly yet beautiful place. How humans can be the most hurtful yet helpful beings on this planet. The only negative point I will make about the game in general is that there's no fast forwarding or skipping scenes and dialogue. So if you're replaying the game and watching the cutscenes that are the same no matter what, you do have to sit through them, and some can be rather long. When I wanted to replay one of the last chapters, I had to watch a lot of dialogue just to get to a certain choice I wanted to see with a different outcome. It was a tad annoying, but not enough to make me dislike the game. I suppose they decided to do this since every single dialogue choice, even small, can cause different outcomes? I'm not sure. But I believe that they should have at least given the player the option to skip some scenes or dialogue, especially if you wanted to replay the game numerous times. Other than that, it was a roller coaster of a ride. So glad I got to experience it, and I sincerely hope there will be a second installment or at least a DLC of an extra story. Alright, so as for the final score, I give Detroit Become Human a 9 out of 10. I recommend it for anyone that enjoys decision-making story-driven games like Telltale or Life is Strange. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more reviews of all old and new. Jane!